This is that slowness of the computer I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. Finally. Hey, how's it going, Champagne Sharks? I see people in the chat getting really excited, so I want to throw cold water on it now. It's not going to be anything like that takedown of Hamilton last time because I did not see this. I didn't see In the Heights. I just find the controversy funny. I find it ironic that
Hilarious.
he found a use for black people when it was time to I guess blackwash the slave owners and kind of buy them a pass. But when it came time to play Latinos in um, Dominican Field, Washington Heights, suddenly black people are not necessary. We didn't really have any, I guess, bigger use in that narrative. So yeah, playing genocidal white founding father slaveholders. Black people come on in, but to play Latinos in Washington Heights. So it's just like to play the blackest Latinos in existence. Uh,
Right.
no need to come in
It's the
apply.
funniest. Honestly, the conversation trying to excuse the lack of black people is the funny thing, right?
Yeah,
I don't think there's any surprise, to be honest with you. I just think this is probably one of the few times Afro Latino people have actually had a space to really talk about it, because I feel like it's been happening forever, right? Like,
oh yeah,
erasing Afro Latinos is not some new shit, but the conversation that's so funny is the excuses being made for it. It's like
yeah.
they're not
Uh,
even trying to make sense.
they weren't able to keep up with the woke discourse because right now the colorism is all about colorism, and I think they just figured
Right.
here's some representation. This is gonna be the Latino version of Black Panther or Crazy Rich Asians. This is gonna be the Latino representation, and they weren't ready for it. And I mean, the root. I'll tell you, this is the most hard hitting I've seen the root be. It was still a softball
It was
at the
about to
end
say
of
it's
the
still
day, but
soft as fuck.
it was still soft as fuck. But for them, that was like hard hitting investigative journalism. Like like colorism
Yeah.
really brought out the best of them.
Yeah.
They
I
really
agree.
want to talk about it.
So the thing that's so funny about it is that they're trying to make it look like it's something you're not supposed to talk about while saying it's something we should talk about. Because it's like
Yeah,
they're trying to sweep it under the rug, and that's the part that I find to be fucking hilarious. Like
that's
Rita
really
Moreno,
funny.
for example. Like, I don't know if you're gonna. Did you have that clip?
No, I'm actually trying to pull it up now. Hey, Tori and Rain, how's it going? Good seeing
Like
you here.
the
Hey,
thing that
B
was so
Scott.
funny. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm just giving some shout outs, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead, give the shout outs. I
Oh yeah, what's going on? Ruzbe, I sound info. Fuck you, Google. Solam. Oh fuck your. Is it fuck you? Yeah. Pensive of Dorf. Yeah. So we're just laughing at the Rita Moreno and Lin Manuel stuff. But yeah, by all means, go ahead. I'm gonna pull up the clip in the meantime.
Well, it's just funny because I feel like they're constantly trying to make these excuses, but their excuses suck. Like they're not even good. Like they're trying to use even the language, the right language, the whatever the
Yeah.
PR language is to dismiss it. That's definitely a conversation we need to have. Like you're literally having the conversation and saying that's a conversation we need to have. What are
Uh,
you
uh,
talking about?
I saw a clip where someone said the conversation industrial complex, and
Oh my
I
god, I
was
love
like,
that.
that's true, but it should be called the future conversation industrial complex because it's
Oh
always
yeah.
about a conversation you're supposed to have. You don't ever actually even have the conversation. You just get props for saying, we need to have a conversation about, and then you see you having conversations about the conversation that you need to have. So it's not even the conversation industrial complex. It's the someday future conversation
Yeah,
industrial complex.
I don't understand why people just don't have the conversation. Like you fucking brought it up. It's like those annoying ass people who are like, "Oh, I want to talk to you about something," but you have to wait to hear it. Just tell me what the fuck it is. I
Oh
know we got
yeah.
like don't put. Why are you constantly pushing it back? Just get it out the way. You brought it up fucking now. Or it's on the table now. Let's go ahead and hash this out. This future
Are-
conversation, we'd have a conversation about. Bitch, you brought it up. Just talk about it.
Yeah, it's really annoying. It's like we have a friend that says, "Oh, I got a big announcement to make on Friday." Like, shut up! I don't care. Just Tell me when you're ready to tell me. Like,
Right.
I'm gonna sit
Exactly.
around
Yeah, have
here
a big
like,
announcement.
yeah, like you're some kind of celebrity or a movie. Like, you're not Infinity War. Like, I'm not gonna.
Like you're building up anticipation. Like,
Yeah, you are not that important.
but so I was watching that clip, and then but the root was probably the funniest because it was like, even this one girl is like, yeah, this is one of my other pet peeves. It's just in general whenever people do this, and I see this like a lot of Latinos do this thing where all of a sudden they have all these dark skinned relatives, like, oh, just like my dark skinned
Oh yeah.
sister, just like, it's like, I'm in this movie, but my dark skinned relatives can't be in this movie. Like, what? Like,
But something else that gets
roles
on my
in
nerves
specific-
too, right? Is I feel like there's a lot of okay, like the discourse has gotten so bad around Latinos. What I mean by that is, um, people discovered and started saying something that was very true and very good that needed saying, which is Hispanic or Latino is not a race, it's an ethnicity and everything, which I think is good because a lot of
right,
Latinos, will try to get out of the white bag by saying, "Hey, we're not
right.
white, we're Latino." That was good, but something new has come to replace it. That's really bad. Which is,
Oh no.
I think, because in America everything's about white versus black. So now you have to struggle to kind of put every Latino into Afro Latino or white Latino, as if like there's not like indigenous stuff happening or other racial like mixture in there. Like
Right.
some that like it's okay to see a Latino and say, okay, that person is not white, but they're not Afro Latino either. Instead, what people are doing now is just calling
Anybody
either
that's not a black Latino, anybody that doesn't look African is a white Latino.
yeah, or vice versa. Someone will try to use it the other way, where like as an Afro Latina, it's like okay, no, you're just brown. You are not an Afro Latina. And that was happening a lot
Right.
in this.
Like
Like
you're
there was
Aztec.
some,
That's fine. Just say you're
yeah,
Aztec.
yeah. And I think it's because in America everything is like black versus white, so they almost want to make you pick a side all the time. Like like when people call people like white Arabs, and you look at them, and it's like okay, he's not black, but he's clearly not white. Like the guy is like
Right.
the color of Usher. Like that's not a white person. That's like
Right.
so that was happening a lot with this, where either people who were not black were calling themselves Afro Latina and trying to use themselves as examples of
Right.
representation, or they were
That's
calling
like
themselves.
Gina Torres did. Didn't that girl do that shit? That shit was so funny.
Oh
She's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
my dad's a dark skinned Afro Latino, and then the picture
And
of
the
her
dude
dad
was
is
not. Yeah,
nowhere near dark skin and definitely not Afro Latino.
yeah. And then people were taking it the opposite extreme. It goes, yeah, you and your family are not Afro Latinos. You guys are white Latina. Because okay, no, she's not white either. Like I don't say about America.
Clearly not white.
Yeah, they always try to do that. Like even like with Asians, they try to say stuff like, okay, the Pacific Islanders are the black people of Asia, but the Japanese and the Chinese are like the white people. It's like no, not everything
Is
is
black and white.
America. Yeah, like I feel like in America you gotta turn everything into where would you have been in the Civil War? Like, would you be black or would you be white? It's a very weird.
Which is so funny because depending on where you were in America, that could change.
Yeah, totally.
If you were in California, if you were Mexican, you were black. People don't know that. You were that fact, the Brown versus Board of Education law came from dark skinned Mexicans in California.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, race is just a funny, changing thing all the time. But it's funny how bad the discourse. Anytime the discourse gets good, for a second has an improvement, just like 3 steps back, because everyone's like robots with scripts. They can't really think. So now it's just like, they're calling it, yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like even with this, I don't know if you're able to pull up the. Oh, you do have the root one. I was thinking about the Carmen Miranda one, but the thing is, I think,
Wait,
especially in show.
Carmen Miranda. What's her name? That's not
Carmen
her name.
Moreno. Moreno.
Rita Moreno. Yeah.
Rita Moreno. What's Carmen? Oh, that's the banana lady.
Yeah,
that's the fruit lady. Where do I get Carmen Miranda from?
No,
That's
I think you combine. I think you combine Carmen Sandiego. I think you combine Carmen Sandiego with No, the other one's not called Carmen Miranda,
No,
is she?
Carmen Miranda is an actress. She's the fruit lady with the fruit on her head.
Oh yeah,
That's a
she's the
real
one that.
actress.
Yeah, I remember
So
now.
I don't know. You might have said Carmen Miranda, and I said that, but I
Oh
know her
yeah,
name is Rita
I'm good
Moreno.
for that. That could have totally been me. I'm good for malpropisms.
Because I know who Rita Moreno is, which is why I was so disappointed. So you got me saying Carmen Miranda. Now I'm fucked up. But anyways, Rita Moreno, hers was funny because I actually liked Rita Moreno until today. Like literally everything I ever like thought she was cool. Fuck her. You know, I just totally threw everything off. But it's just these over, especially in Hollywood, race is so oversimplified. It doesn't even
Yeah,
like it's, and I think like part of the issue, the reason why Afro Latinos have been erased isn't because Afro Latinos weren't in Hollywood. They were just playing African Americans for a very long
yeah.
time.
Like a recent example. I mean, there
Like
was
Gina
Antonio.
Torres. Gina
Yeah,
Torres is a
Gina
perfect
Torres.
example.
I assume Antonio Vargas Jr. had to be Afro Latina because he Afro Latino, just based on
What
his
was it?
name.
Lorenzo? What's the guy's Don Alonzo, whatever his name is.
Oh, uh,
Laz
Laz
Alonzo.
Alonso, the guy who played Romeo on Steve Harvey was Dominican.
Yeah, but he played Dominican on Steve Harvey. He played black
Okay.
on the Cosby Show. His parents were Dominican on Steve Harvey Show.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
only remember that because his there was an episode where his mom was there. She's speaking Spanish, and remember his girlfriend was the Dominican girl.
Oh yeah. I remember now.
The
Good one.
Dominican girl. Yeah. But yeah, but he did play African American on the Cosby Show. At least he never spoke Spanish on the Cosby Show. I
Yeah.
never seen him speak Spanish on the Cosby Show. But multiple times you have what's her name? The one who's sometimey. I don't like her though. The
Oh,
one
I know who you're talking about.
you know she's famous.
The one who's in Drumline. The one who's in the
Yes.
Marvel.
Why can't I think of her name? She's in Guess Who with Bernie Mac is her dad.
Yeah, how much? Some of the chat has to. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
The chat room is gonna eat us up for that because I don't know why I can't think of this girl's name.
Yeah, Guardians
Zoe
of the
Saldana.
Galaxy. Yeah, Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana always reminds you of someone who, like, if a black guy tries to talk to her when they walk away, she'll be like, "Ooh, niggers." Like, I don't know. She just has ooh niggers look to me.
I definitely believe that. But yeah, but so we know that Afro Latinos existed in Hollywood, but they've always played African Americans. So it's interesting how all these Latinos are like, yeah, Latino, it's time for like Latinos to be seen in mainstream Hollywood, which I never understood that desire in the first place. And I'd venture to believe that's much how we have different groups in the Black community. I'd venture to believe that's another type of, group in the Latino community, because the reality is Latinos actually have a lot of their own outlets that we don't have as African Americans. So wanting to be in mainstream America is really interesting to me.
But I think the ones who want to be mainstream are not Latinos; they're Latinx. Like Latinx are like the Blavity BuzzFeed blacks of the Latino community.
Yeah,
I don't think they really get along with. I think they get beat up at the family reunions when they go home. Like, I think they're a very specific group.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'd have to talk more to people I know from the Latino community, but I'd be wondering that. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much for your donation. And what's up?
Yeah, so Jen says all this discourse about Afro Latins makes me think of Godfrey's "I'm not black, I'm Dominican."
I know black, I Dominican. Yeah. You know what? I was on
I know Black Poppy.
I was on Clubhouse, which is again super funny because even in the Afro Latino community, there's a division there, and I've talked to some friends about that. I thought was interesting, but I was in a Clubhouse room because T got me on Clubhouse. He discovered that there's like an Android beta version, and he sent me the link to that. And there was this whole group about, I guess Godfrey said something about Black women recently.
Oh, did he?
But I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know what it was because there were just Black people going off in a Clubhouse room, so I never actually found out what he actually said.
So nobody reset the room. That's what you're supposed to do, and let people occasionally be reminded of what the room's about. I guess no one was doing that.
I mean, maybe they did, and I just didn't stay long enough to hear it. I don't know, but at any rate, yeah.
I'll say this: I put Godfrey in Twitter to see what he said, and it auto completed Godfrey Black Woman. So
Yeah, it's in the bubble
that means
album. What did he
everyone's
say?
searching for it.
Ooh, what did he say? What did he say to me?
I'm trying to find it, but I just want you to know everybody's searching for. Hmm. God, typical Twitter. I'm finding everyone talking about it, but I can't. Oh wait.
That happens to me a lot on Twitter. I see people talking about it than the actual thing that happened. I'll look too. What did he say? He found it?
He's blasting companies using interracial couples on billboards in Brooklyn, but I guess it turned out he was mad that black men who date outside the race aren't being represented. So actually, I think I found a clip. Let me just find it and
Oh,
see.
okay.
I found it on my phone, but let me see. Actually, you know what? Since I have this up, is it on the screen?
Yeah.
Oh, I've had it up for so long. We might as well
Yeah.
pay off on this. We
Yeah.
can go to Godfrey later. Someone said Chrissy made a. I like Chrissy's videos. I think she's kind of insane. I don't know. Have you ever seen Chrissy?
Who?
Have you ever seen Chrissy, the one who's like the? She's like the Tommy Sotomayor for like dark skinned women. I mean, she's not as provocative, but I'm saying as
I
far as being the spokesperson, like this new colorism slash kind of divest slash dark skin advocacy stuff. She's like at the heart of a lot of it, but she's kind of smart.
think I've seen you and Kenny talk about it in the group chat, but I never heard of her until that conversation.
Yeah, some of her followers have like found our videos and used like her talking points, and they're like among that group that kind of makes like dark skinned women sound like really
Sad, desperate, lonely people.
yeah, but
Dejected.
but she'll make some good points though. That's the thing with her. She'll always take it like at some
Too
point.
far.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's how all of them are though. That's how they get people. They make really good points in one thing.
Yeah,
And people will be so enthralled by the one area where they do make sense that they don't pay attention to the fact that this person's saying nonsense 90% of the other time.
especially if the person is making sense on something that they felt really alone about. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like I feel like a lot of dark skinned women feel like they're not specifically spoken to. So you hear someone, dropping a little bit of heat on that topic. You're so grateful. You're like, I'll put up with whatever else you have to talk about. All right, here we go. The late nights, taste beans and rice.
I ain't gonna say it twice. Turn up the street lights. Miranda does a terrible job with the graphics.
What's that?
StreamYard does a terrible job with these graphics. Streaming the graphics.
Yeah, it looks pretty. I think it might be the actual original video. The original video just doesn't look great for whatever reason.
Better than this.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
it's also choppy and slow. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, that too. That's definitely. Actually, let me connect directly instead of over Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll help. All right, so I just made a wired connection. But yeah,
go ahead, play.
The music sounds like Yo Gabba Gabba whenever I hear like Lin-Manuel
Washington Heights. What I don't like about that is I know they sent in. That's exactly. I know they were in choir rehearsal singing that part over and over again because they had to make sure the accent was perfect. I promise you.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not Washington. It's Washington. All in one chord, in unison. Washington Heights. You know what I mean? And the choir just.
And the rest of the song isn't even that Hispanic influence. So what's the point of just putting those accents? That sounds like a kind of bad hip hoppy Yo Gabba Gabba Broadway song, generic.
So
and then they put a little bit of stank on certain words.
I actually like musicals, but I don't like musicals that are forced. Like it has to feel authentic to the culture of the people you're portraying. This looks really
and a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people when I complain about his music, they'll be like, "Oh, you just don't understand theater music." Because no, I've listen to musicals. I know theater music. I'm saying even by theater music standards, it just sounds like after school special, schoolhouse rock,
Right.
yo gabba gabba. Like there's
Like
something.
Dreamgirls is a musical, but they
Yeah,
sound like they sound authentic to the what they're trying to portray. Like
yeah, but I mean, yeah, I like a lot of musicals. I like Guys and Dolls. I like all types of musicals. That's just,
not
uh,
good.
yeah, I'm not crazy about it. Yeah, like some people try to support me and it goes, yeah, I really like your Hamilton takedown stuff, and it's like, yeah, the music's good, but I'm like, just go away. If you think that music's good, I don't care if you agree with me on
Listen, that
everything
music is
else. I don't trust you.
awful.
Yeah,
And
you're a
I
cop.
have a friend who loved that damn musical, and I was like, "Girl, what are you talking about? This shit's garbage." I didn't even watch it. I just watched like the different scenes, and I was like, "How can y'all sit through this?" And I like musicals. This looks ridiculous. First of all, it's called Hamilton, and it's like all types of weird. But
Yeah, it's very bizarre. Very bizarre.
Congratulations on In the Heights. It was a lovely musical.
And you know, you could tell how used these people are to getting puff piece, puff piece things from like representation media. Like they just thought there was gonna get a lot of accolades for the representation.
yo,
Like,
what's up with her background though?
oh yeah, I don't know. She's actually an
Like, how do you
explorer,
just randomly have like this instrument in between books and a fucking globe?
and I think there's like
Like they literally forced that in there.
yeah. I guess she wants people to know that she's Latino, so she
But
had to
not
put
no
like
Afro Latino, because that's
yeah.
an Afro Latino instrument.
Well, honestly, all Latino instruments, like
Are
even though
pretty much African instruments.
yeah,
I
even
know.
though they say they're not black, well, I mean,
Which is like, oh, somebody said that too in the thread on and for that video. They were like, wait a minute. All the like, I don't understand how y'all trying to deny all the black people when literally all your music is African.
yeah,
All of
yeah. The music is very African. The rhythms, everything.
it.
Uh, here we go.
But as a Black woman of Cuban descent, specifically from New York City, it would be remiss of me to not acknowledge the fact that most of your principal actors were light skinned.
You know what I like about her opening for that question?
Mm-hmm.
I like that she wanted to make sure she got the credentials out the way, because the first thing people will try to do is try to discredit you because what do you know? You're not even from here. So she was like,
Yeah.
nah, let me just lay this all out there now. I am Afro Latina and I'm from New York.
Yep. So yeah, she got both credentials out the way.
Right out the way.
Because Washington, I mean, you have to give some account for Hollywood. Like, you know, it was never gonna look exactly like the type of person, but I mean, it really looks nothing like Washington Heights. Like these kind of people do
I've
not
been
look
to
like.
Washington Heights. It definitely like it was so weird looking at that clip even because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to give it away.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep playing.
What are your thoughts on the lack of Black Latinx people represented in your film?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was something we talked about, and I needed to be educated about.
Oh God! See, they've trained these people in how to deflect,
Right.
this ally industrial complex. You remember when we were talking about Patrice Carter's consulting firm? I bet you it's a lot of these woke consultancies that teach these people this. And you know, we've called it New Age March, Pray, Love. Like the secret type stuff. It's like, you know, there's a bunch of like buzzwords and stalling tactics. Like, you know, we need to have a conversation about and educated. No, please educate me. I'm learning. You know, I'm learning so much. I've seen DeRay do it with people. I've seen Amanda Seals do it, and I suspect highly that's what they were teaching at Patrice Color's consultancy, where they went to corporations and help educate them. Like, I feel like, yeah, like they're so coached and they don't know how ridiculous they sound.
Like even what he just said right now, especially since I found out he actually been called out about the same thing in his fucking Asian movie, a Crazy Rich Asian movie.
Oh yeah, but you know,
he was already he's already been checked on the fact that he don't be putting dark skinned people in his shit.
But like my Asian friends told me that it's not far. My Asian friend made a good point. He said it's not far fetched that people of that, like, you know, class and that they're ethnically Chinese in Singapore would be that color. But he said that what's very interesting, he said, and that was a great point. the main character, Henry Fielding, whatever, is playing a full Asian guy, and he's half white, and nobody was complaining about that. And he was kind of saying that like he was saying like Asian blue checks are a lot like black blue checks, like they're fine with a biracial half white guy playing a full Asian. And he said to me, he was saying to me that is the bigger piece of erasure that
and probably very common.
But using half white actors to play full Asian people.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, and I know it's interesting because one of the things I was told from friend of mine, she's a filmmaker. She's actually a Japanese American filmmaker, and she was telling me that's not uncommon because the idea is that those are the pretty ones. Those are the more attractive Asians, ones that look more white. Their eyes aren't usually as tight. Their skin's a little bit fairer. And they have certain features that tend to, favor more Caucasian features.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, but him saying specifically though, the part that irritates me about what he said though, is him specifically saying that this is something he had to get educated on, which doesn't even make sense. You did a film. Did you not go to Washington Heights before you made the film?
yeah. Like, what kind of education do you need outside of having two eyes and seeing that like the neighbor is like really full of Afro Latinos?
Right.
But he goes, why is this guy credentialed to make this movie? He was the guy to make Crazy Rich Asians. So I guess he just figured, hey, representation is representation.
He's not even Afro Latino himself or Latino himself.
No, but I always say blue checks have more in common with each other than they have with anybody in the race. He's a blue check, and he's part of the representation crowd. So I just think that's all they care about. Kamaria, it's actually more interesting with To All the Boys. The character is half white, and the actress is full Asian, and that is a big rarity. That doesn't happen very much, but yeah, that's what happened with that one. But yeah, I thought my friend made a good point. He's like, why don't they care about Henry Fielding? But his theory is that a lot of people think the idea of a half white, half Asian person is cool in those type of circles, so that won't bother them. Especially because of
what is Torian talking about?
Oh, I don't know. Let me see.
I wish I could come up on this panel. I don't want to.
Yeah, he was saying he. I guess there's a lot to say about this topic.
He said, why don't he hop on?
Yeah. Torian, if you want to hop on,
that's what I'm talking about. What's he talking about? Let's come the fuck on.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, hold on. Let me.
Nobody's
I think I still have his. I might still have his email address. Hold on. Torian, do you want to come on? In the meantime,
he don't want to impose, but nobody would be feeling imposed upon. He would be adding to the conversation.
Let's see. I'm going to my Gmail, but actually, in the meantime, let me play more of this clip.
Yeah.
While I find Torian's.
Of course, in the end, when we were looking at the cast, we tried to get the people who were best for those roles, and that's specifically. And we saw a lot of people like Daphne or Dasha. But I hear you on, trying to fill those cast members with.
Wait, what was the point of bringing up Daphne and Dasha? Was you trying to say that they're Afro Latina?
Yeah, because they identify as Afro Latina.
Oh, get out of here!
But she was very clear that there were no dark skinned Afro Latinos.
Yeah.
Like they're clear. But the thing that's so interesting, both of them are unmistakably Latina. Yes, I think you would probably call them. I can see you calling them Afro Latina, so I definitely get that. Because they definitely have African features. Like they could pass for like a light skinned black girl kind of thing.
Yeah. They could. No, the reason I'm stuck in my teeth is because Dasha Polenko has said some of the most tone deaf, horrible things in the Afro Latina debate and everything. And the black debate. Well, John Leguizamo. Remember, John Leguizamo does this thing whenever black people get anything. Suddenly he becomes an activist. Yeah, and people are bringing up the recent examples, but even back in the day, he was doing that. Like when In Living Color was doing big, suddenly like John Leguizamo comes out and he's like, "Hey man, what about the Latino living color? We need Latino living color." They had House of Bugging, and it wasn't that good, but it was so clearly trying to be the Latino in living color. And throughout the decade, he's always been doing that. So he was talking about how, hey, why are black people getting all the representation? It's time for Latinx to or Latinos to do their own representation, which is like the second time he's recently done that as well. He's getting his foot in his mouth about that. Like,
Which
and
I don't,
people,
doesn't even make sense because like who's stopping you from doing what the fuck you gonna do?
yeah, exactly. And why do we always have to do it first? Like, you had plenty of chances just sitting there, and you were doing Super Mario Brothers and whatever. But it's like once people have an inkling that black people might not be in the bottom anymore, it scares them because they don't know how to define themselves. Like
Um,
so I feel like that makes them panic whenever they think black people are gonna overtake him at any given point.
yeah. Torian asked if you sent the link, but
Um,
I heard that John Leguizamo wasn't even Latino, but that's a whole nother conversation.
um, and the Latino that he is, I think, is not Puerto Rican. Like he does have
Oh yeah, that's what it was. He wasn't Puerto Rican. But what were you gonna? But yeah, did you send Torian the link though?
no, I thought I had his email, but I don't. Actually, no. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. I got it. I found his email.
Oh,
Okay.
Play your
I'm
clip.
gonna send it, and we'll see if it's the same email. It's a Yahoo address. So if that's
Okay.
wrong and outdated, Tori, and let me know. But
But I'm saying you could play the clip so you don't have to feel like you have to
oh yeah,
focus on both at the same time.
yeah. It's because this computer's going so slow. Switching from window to
Oh,
window takes forever.
Darker skin.
Okay.
I think that's a really good conversation to have. Something that we should all be talking about.
I didn't realize until making this movie that I didn't really get to see myself or people that look like my siblings that are darker than me on screen.
So this example of someone I'm saying is taking the Afro Latino route, where she's saying, yeah, people like me weren't in this enough, and it's like, no, you're one of the people they're complaining about. Like, what are you talking about? But
yeah.
she tried.
But this one she references her dark skinned siblings.
Yeah, I mean, she's another one. I mean, I guess she could pass for light skinned black. I've
I
seen.
think she could. Well, she could pass for mixed.
Yeah, she could pass for mixed. Yeah, but still, it's just so kind of funny now that there's gonna be a new paper bag test for Latinos in media going forward. Okay, there it
And
goes.
I didn't realize how much that affected the limitations that I put on myself, being someone who wanted to be an artist and be an actress and even be in the Latin music industry, being Afro-Latina. I feel so blessed we get to express the diversity that is within the Latinx community in a way that we haven't been able to see on screen, because so many times we're put on screen in one particular way, and since we get so little opportunities, everyone wants to claim that one story because it's all we got.
I think it's important to note though that in the audition process, which was a long audition process, there were a lot of Afro-Latinos there.
Do you know who that is? I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I don't know who she
A lot
was.
of darker skinned people, and I think they were looking for just the right people for the roles, for the person that embodied each character in the fullest extent. And I think we are all very much like our characters, so much so that a lot of times it didn't even feel like we were acting. They just kind of let us live in there. And because the cast ended up being
it's kind of funny in that the reporter is not applying any type of pressure, really.
Well,
and they're still fucking it up.
Well, the thing is, we don't know if she did or didn't because this is excerpts.
Oh yeah, it's edited.
But
I'm saying she's not like cutting. She's not cutting them off and like keeping them on their back foot. Is what I'm saying.
I definitely would let them keep putting their foot in their mouth because this girl just kept talking. And the funny thing was, she opened it up thinking that she was helping, but made it way worse. She said that there were plenty of Afro Latinos in the audition process, but basically none of them were good enough. to play
Yeah,
the role.
basically, yeah, it just lacked talent, is all.
And we're so much like our characters, which still does not take away from the fact that maybe the characters are not written to be inclusive. Like what you're saying is not making this better. Like you're just yeah.
It annoys you so much when someone is speaking English in an American accent and then just throws in so much extra on the pronunciation of the one or two Latin words in the statement. And the reason why like it gets on my nerves so much is like people don't do that in like reverse. They don't know like me llamo Tom. Like just break up the sentence just to say it in the most American way possible. Like vaya conmigo a McDonald's. Like it just seems people usually just kind of adjust the English word into the new language's
accent. Yeah.
Accent. So but it's a perfect display of like how useless these people's wokeness is. Like they can't put actual Black Afro Latinos in a story about a place that's majority Black Afro Latino, but they can make sure to hit all the accents perfectly right as they're sliding them.
Right. Yeah.
Being us, and Washington Heights is a melting pot of Black and Latinx people. John and Lynn wanted the dancers and the big numbers to feel very truthful to what the community looks like.
Did you not see that in the dancers as well?
Those are roles that historically we've been able to fill, right? We've been able to be the dancers, and we've been able to be in the hair salons, and this and that. But like a lead, that's the breakthrough. We want to see Black people in the Heights. We want to see Afro-Panamanians, Black Cubans, Black Dominicans. That's what we want to see, and that's what we were yearning for and hoping for.
I hope that at least that encourages more people to tell more stories and get out there and do it right then.
There is a long history of colorism and pigmentocracy in Latin America. And with that, what would you say to folks who say that in the Heights privileges white passing and light-skinned Latinx people?
I would say that that's a fair conversation to have. I mean, that's
a fair conversation.
Right
that's saying a lot.
In a movie, we tried our best on all fronts of it. I do think there's something to be said about sharing in experiences, and me never trying to say I know what I'm doing, but to just give room to everybody to speak up about what we're doing at that moment.
And I'll just add like this, I hope that this is cracking that glass ceiling, because I do hope to see my brothers and sisters that are darker than me lead these movies.
But it's like you always say, Rita, like what's so good about leading this movie anyway? But
right. But
hey, Torian, how's it going?
How y'all doing?
Pretty good. Rita, have you interacted with Torian before? He's been a guest on the show before.
I feel like once, barely. And
look, I be seeing Rita be going in on Twitter. I be cracking up on the people.
Really? What's your name on Twitter?
The same name, Torian Rain.
Oh, I'm terrible at remembering. I know people's profile pictures.
I have my actual picture up there on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the thing that was so funny about that clip we just saw though, it's a couple of things. This thing with the background dancers. It's like, I know that we need to include Afro Latinos enough to know we need niggas dancing in our movie. That just trips me out so much.
Those probably weren't even Afro Latinos. Just needed anybody who could do the dance, and those are usually Black people.
Right. Right. He asked for the great dancers and having be Black people. But the thing that's so funny is how you didn't need education for that, right? But you somehow need the education that Black people need to be in there. in lead positions. But background, you know niggas can dance, so you know you can get us in there somehow. You know, like that shit was so fucking terrible. That is not like none of these are good PR answers. I don't know who prepped them, but this was terrible.
Some blue check or a couple blue checks are going to be announced as holding court with, or Lin-Manuel Miranda is going to hold court with them, and they're going to emerge out of a room, announcing that Lin-Manuel Miranda is now properly chastised and educated, and he's good for. I don't know who's going to be. Maybe be Amanda Seals. Maybe it'll be Issa Rae. Somebody's going to have a sit down with him who's unqualified to do it, and that's going to be his penance.
Torian, what were your thoughts? I know you said you didn't want to impose, but it wouldn't be an imposition.
But I had to just a little bit. This reminds me, I don't know if y'all remember, but remember when Black Panther first came out, and it was like a huge deal, especially for a lot of Black people around the world. And you had people in Latino community, oh, that's so nice and everything, but, and usually when that but happened, there's some BS to come behind it. They said, but what about the Latino superheroes? I'm like, first of all, the MCU had all these white superhero-led films all the way up to this point, and the minute that a Black superhero comes in, now you want to complain.
Right.
Yes. Or when they started getting some awards, and this was somebody brought up to Dasha Polenko and John Leguizamo, they're complaining about, Oscars so white, it's only helping Black people. What about Latinos? And someone was like, that guy from When They See Us and Moonlight, has been winning awards. You guys don't talk about him because you guys don't think of him as Latino. That Afro Latino, and then they couldn't answer to that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, and this is, I don't know if you remember, but I forgot what movie it was where Yara Shahidi was doing a voiceover. It was some kind of animated movie, and she was being interviewed by it was a Black guy interviewing her and Gina Rodriguez at the same time. And the guy specifically asked Yara, like, how does it feel to be doing a voiceover of a Black character or something like that, or representation for Black girls or something like that? Before Yara Shahidi could get one word out, in comes Gina Rodriguez and stopped her and said, don't you mean like women of color? And she said it with a smile. And she said it with a grin. Like, it was real sinister when she said it. And from that point on, I could not stand Gina Rodriguez.
And that wasn't her first thing either. She's gotten in trouble before for saying greasy stuff. And then what time she was rapping and dropping N-bombs, and then she came back. I didn't know. Like, she's a major troll.
And now I know I think, isn't that when all of a sudden her father became Afro-Latino?
Yeah, father became Afro-Latino. He didn't even look Italian.
And that's why I feel like she also said something about Black women too at some point. Or something with Black women. I know she did something specifically because she got called out on it. She started crying. Remember, she was crying on like Sway. She was crying on Sway.
No, I believe you, but I just like those tears. Like it's so typical of her. She's always doing dumb stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think Michelle Rodriguez did the same thing too, but not to the extent that Gina Rodriguez is going.
Oh yeah. Michelle Rodriguez has said some stuff. Like, she said one time, "Why don't y'all make your own instead of just asking for?" I mean, it's funny. The point wasn't totally bad, but she said it in a way that, even though I agree with her, I still was like,
Because
you need to say it.
Because it was another part to it, because it was a video, remember, and it was like a second part that was like, wait a minute, hold on, because it wasn't just like, oh, let's all create our own. It was more like on some other. I can't remember what it was, but
there was something that pissed me off about it, because it was a sentiment that I actually don't have a problem with in general, but she added something to it that was very unnecessary.
I'm sitting there saying to myself, Michelle, if it wasn't for Vin Diesel constantly pushing out these Fast and Furious movies, you wouldn't even have a job anymore in Hollywood. Because what has Michelle Rodriguez really done mainstream outside of Fast and Furious in the last 5 years? I can't even name one thing except that.
I can't really name Gina Rodriguez movies, so I've never even seen Fast and Furious. So.
Talk about Michelle Rodriguez now.
Oh,
you never seen it? Oh,
I've never
Those
seen
movies
Fast and
are.
Furious. I've seen her in I feel like I've seen her in a movie where she was like a boxer. And I've seen
Oh
her in a
yeah,
movie.
that was a breakout role.
Oh, okay. So I've seen that. And I think was she in Machete
I can't
with
remember.
Trejo? With Danny Trejo, whatever his name is.
You know what? I honestly can't remember. I don't know. Does anyone in the chat know?
She was in another movie, and it might not have been Machete. It might have been something else. But it was. I've seen her in maybe 2 movies.
And then on top of that, the thing is, every role that Michelle Rodriguez pretty much plays, she always plays the stereotypical Latina chick that has a smart mouth and thinks that she's
Right.
more butch than the men. So it's like
Yeah.
she always plays one of the guys. She's never really playing. She's never like played like in a romance movie where she's the love interest or any type of feminine role. She's always playing like the strong, like female.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because in real life, I know she's gay, but she plays straight characters most of the time, which is like a weird choice because she's so clearly not having chemistry with them that I think it kind of hurts. You know, it's weird. 'Cause I know there was a love scene in the first Fast and the Furious for her and Vin Diesel, and it was just the most non-chemistry. It felt like watching like a brother and sister trying to
But I
get
think
busy.
people just like she's Latina, so they kind of attribute, how Hollywood likes to attribute like this natural sexiness thing, unless they want to stereotype you as like a maid for the most
Yeah.
part. They always have like this, hypersexualized Latina. So even though she's this tough girl type of character, they have to somehow hypersexualize her, even though. But I think that's like a
But the
genre.
characters tend to not be that sexual. I don't think. They just
No, they feed into a certain type of sexiness. It's not her necessarily. It's not her acting.
yeah.
It's the way the camera angles are. It's like you're supposed to know she's this sexy, extra tough girl. You know how like the Angelina Jolie thing. It's like
Mhm.
it might not even be her trying to be sexy, but they're always going to portray this character as this very sexy, tough girl, badass type thing. I don't know. It's like this genre of American action movies that people like. The sexy, skinny girl who also fights bad guys.
This is what John Leguizamo said. Why can't we Latinx have a piece of the pie? We are the largest ethnic group in America, and missing as if we didn't exist. But it's like you said, Rita. Who was stopping you all this time? Like, why is it? And this is the story he was commenting on. Black nominees gain ground. Latino representation still abysmal, but they had no complaints all the other years. When black people weren't winning.
But I bet you if we did the math, there's probably way more Latinos that got awards than black people. Because remember,
for
also
sure.
a lot of white actors changed their names. So you have people who are Latino that you don't even know are Latino.
Like Charlie Sheen.
Right, because if they change their names. And he's not the only one. I just can't think of all the people right now. But that's very common in Hollywood.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So there's probably more Latinos that got awards than black people, the non-Latino black people.
But also, like you said, if it was really bothering them like that, he could have spoken like way before this. But like I said, he only ever speaks up. House of Bugging is interesting. House of Bugging was like supposed to be a Hispanic in Living Color, and then he got fired from the show after the first season. And then they turned it into Mad TV. So Mad TV started out as the Hispanic in Living Color, and then they fired all the Hispanics. They kept the one white guy on the show.
Wow.
And then they hired a white cast, and they made it Mad TV. The white guy was the guy from Office Space, the one who's in the car that goes, "Damn, it feels good to be a gangster." He was the one white member of House of Bugging.
House of Bugging.
Yeah, it was not funny. Hold on, I'm gonna put
name.
It sounds corny.
Yeah, just the name itself, it sounds terrible. Do you have the Carmen? I keep saying Carmen Miranda. Do you have the Rita Moreno clip?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put that up. But I was gonna put House of Bugging real quick so people could
You wanted to
see.
subject us to some nonsense first.
No, because I want you to see just what a ripoff it is of In Living Color. Except on top of that, it wasn't funny. That was the one thing that didn't take. But listen to the music too. The music's so bad.
Bruh, stop.
Wait,
This is
is it frozen?
I can barely see anything. Oh God, now I see the dancing. Oh my God. The music was bad on its own.
Yeah.
I don't remember the show, and it's a good thing I don't.
Wepa. Yeah, and then the skits were just not funny. They were so bad.
That's so cheesy. It's like someone, it's like they hired people to say Latino and make it hip hop. Like
Yeah.
it's really bad. It's so funny how bad I can imagine people sitting like the type of people that are sitting in a room pitching this idea and or butchering the idea, because that was bad. That was bad.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. There's a Latino guy who has a show on Comedy Central, and he's actually pretty funny, but he's like from another country, and this is his first show in America, but it's on Comedy Central. But that dude is actually pretty funny.
But you don't know his name.
No, I'm gonna find his name. I think it's Arturo something.
The thing that I always find interesting is that these Latino celebs just can't seem to push their agenda without shitting on Black people, or trying to throw Black people under the bus, or blame Black people, or make it seem like somehow they're more victimized than Black people when the Black people in their own communities are victimized by them.
The show's called Alternatino, and the guy's name is Arturo Castro. But the reason I bring him up is a lot of times I feel like the Latinos aren't making a big show of pumping the attempts of Latinos to do shows in America. Like, I feel like whenever there's like a Black show, especially at a time when not a lot of Black shows are on, like Black people try to spread the word about a show or talk about, oh, there's a new Black show happening or something. But I feel like a lot of Latinos don't really do that, and like they don't really start hyping things until they see Black people hyping things, and then suddenly they're complaining they're not getting enough attention. But they don't really, to me, like do that grassroots, like tell everyone. I've seen them start it recently with that show One Day at a Time. That's the only recent example I could think of.
One Day
on
at
Netflix.
a Time.
Yeah, they made a Latino version of.
Oh, I see people talk about it, but it was like the clip I saw where people pissed about how they portrayed Cuba.
Oh yeah, the leftists hate the show for that reason, because it's like anti-socialist, pro Batista, like white Cuban propaganda. But the Latinos are pushing it because it was in danger of being canceled, and like Latino support. But even that happened after Oscars So White and all the representation stuff. So I think they were starting to get the playbook.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. Just in general, not even just Latinos, but Black people. I don't understand this desperate need to have white people be all up on white people's shit. I just don't. Because I'm gonna be real, that shit don't. Whatever they're gonna give you is gonna be wrong. Like that. You know the people they're gonna hire to put it together. Even if they get Black people in the writers' room, even if they get Black actors, even if they get Black producers, you're still gonna have to deal with whatever the studio or the execs are saying and what they want and produce what they want. And it's never gonna be anything that's gonna empower you. That's just the reality of it. So this desperate need to want to be in their spaces and be represented by them, I don't get it. And everyone keeps telling me representation matters. It's about dignity. It's about respect. I personally just feel like it's a lost cause if you're constantly trying to get accolades and approval from white people. People went in on me, by the way, because I said something about Tiana Taylor because she was the first African American to get to be listed as Maxim's sexiest person or something, right?
And Maxim's not even a highly prized magazine in the white community.
It's
Like,
not even like Vogue or something, right? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah. White people don't even like. We're begging to be in the Reject magazine. like Maxim. I didn't know it even still made that thing. Maxim, even when it was hot, was an embarrassment. It was just like, stereotypical bro magazine. Like this is what we're celebrating.
like so right. So like, but my whole thing was, if I'm Tiana Taylor, I get it. That's great marketing for me. I can put that on my website. I can start charging more for shit. I get it as Tiana Taylor. It's a great thing. If I was her, I'd promote the hell out of that shit. It's gonna be all on my shit. I'm Maxim's, whatever. Now you got to pay me fucking more to show up at your shit. Whatever.
Yeah.
What I don't get is all the black people who are like, "Yay, she's the first black," and I'm like, that's not an accomplishment. It's never, to me, being the first black, not to do something, but the first black person to be selected by white people is never an accomplishment to me, because she didn't do anything. What she did was get chosen. Finally, somebody said, "Oh, you know what? It's 2021 and we've never put a black person at the top of this list." What? That's not.
Yeah.
That's them trying to get brownie points.
Right. That's because they realize they're off on their branding. Shit's changing. Now you got to put black women in shit because that's what the trend is.
But also, here's the thing strange. Why Tiana Taylor? Not because she's not beautiful or anything, but I feel like, is she someone that the white people at Maxim is really on the radar?
I mean, that's just PR shit. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Somebody's agent, somebody's PR person, publicist, label, studio. Somebody just hooked that whole. Those things aren't real. That's the other thing I have to tell people. And then somebody tried to like, some type of gotcha moment for me, which I always think is funny because you ain't gonna get me on shit because I'm consistent with my beliefs. But somebody was like, "Well, do you think winning a Grammy or an Oscar is an accomplishment?" And I said, "I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think anything where you waiting for white people to award you for your shit is ever an accomplishment. That's not, to me, it's not. It's great for you as an artist. Great. You can charge more for shit. You get more opportunities. That it's great for your resume. You know how when you get a job and you start listing shit for your accomplishments, you'd be like, "Yo, I spoke on this panel. Yeah, it was some kindergarten classroom, but it doesn't fucking matter. It goes on your fucking resume. Awesome. Fantastic." But as a black person, I have a problem sitting there watching these white folks give each other awards for copying my shit and then throwing a few crumbs our way. That's not okay to me. I'm consistent in that. So it's not a gotcha moment. Nah, fuck the Oscars, fuck the Grammys. These people don't even have talent. They copy your shit. I don't give a fuck what they think. I'm not looking for accolades from them.
I can't remember the last time I even watched an award show.
Nobody the shit's not real. So it's not an accomplishment anyway. It's always who you know, whose ass did you kiss, did the people who's the ones voting. Well, let me go kiss their ass and have meetings with them and make sure that I'm portraying myself a certain way because this particular person that has a voting card likes these kind of people. That's all that shit is. That's Hollywood. This is not real. You're not actually winning because you worked so hard. You sucked the right dick. Let's be real.
Something I've even changed my mind about. I used to always say, like, we need to have our own awards, or don't make a big deal about going to the Oscars. Go to NAACP Image Awards instead, and all that stuff. But I've been thinking about it. You know what? It's all bullshit. Like you know what? Fuck the Black Awards too. Like fuck all of them. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the only reason those Black Awards exist is because that's like that time where everything white people wouldn't let us do, we just wanted to make our own version of it, whether the context was the same or whatever. Like, even having the black one is still kind of buying into the whole
public award ceremony shit.
Yeah, and just trying to be like Europeans. At the end of the day, like
So for Champagne Sharks, I've been watching The Crown. I told you I was going to watch it. I'm on season 4. I watched this shit and it's so interesting because I always think, because funny enough, a lot of that shit in that show is true. I Google it to be like, there's no way this shit was real. That shit, these are like stories that actually happened. Maybe not in the detail, maybe not all the lines, but this shit is fucking wild. First of all, these white folks are nuts. These Europeans are fucking sick in the head. I was just thinking, like, even today I was watching it, and it makes such a big deal about rank. Even within your own family. I get in public, for public ceremony, okay, you might have to, pretend like you give a fuck about this shit, right? But even in your own house, you gotta bow to your fucking nephew. Nigga, I used to wipe your ass. I'm not bowing to you. Like, that shit's, like, you have to be really insane in the head to think that this shit is normal. This idea that I'm sovereign just because I was born, and we're gonna hope. And then the whole thing about this show that cracks me up the most, though, is like they're trying to show you how human they are, but all their suffering is so they can maintain power.
I used to be obsessed with European royalty. Like, I would just read and read about it, particularly British. Any movie, anything, I would just like watch the stuff because they're so fucked up. They're
That's what my mom says. That's literally what my mom says.
They're so fucked up, and it's like it blows my mind that there's all these black kids today who want to watch it because they want to fantasize about being a part of it, and they want to fantasize like Bridgerton about doing a curtsy and a debutante. But the best stuff is you just read it when it's all white and it's fully depraved. Because another thing that happens that's fucked up when you race bend the stuff, when you watch the old stuff from like the 70s on BBC and the people look all grubby and they're just doing all this stuff, you start realizing like just how fucked up that whole history is. And the whole court system of Henry VIII and how Machiavellian and disgusting and hierarchical it is. When you start putting black people in this stuff, you'll notice it. Like with Bridgerton, suddenly it softens the society because now you can't have people mistreat the black people, or you got to show how woke you are, and whatever. So suddenly everything is like sanitized, and it, in a way, having the black people in there almost helps white history, because now just by having the black people there, it looks more civilized and more tolerant. And then you have this fake empowerment storyline for the black person or whatever, or it just becomes very.
You have the good white people storyline, and
I found out that I guess you can say the royal family was messed up after what happened with Princess Diana. That's when I realized how messed up they were.
That's what my mom said. It's funny because much like T, my mom was like loves British period pieces, and I could not understand why she would watch this shit, because the shit she would watch really be from Britain, and it should be weird as fuck, right?
Did your mom watch a series called Elizabeth R about Queen Elizabeth II?
I'm pretty sure she did.
Okay.
I would have no doubt. She watches everything, all types of shit, fiction, real. It don't fucking matter. She watches all that shit, and the thing she said was similar to what you said, T. She's like, it's just a trip to watch how crazy these people are. These people are like, this is literally, and she pointed out, you can see so many remnants of it in their culture today. Right? And even the things that we call manners and etiquette come from these weirdos. Like, it's just not even real shit most of the time, right?
Yeah.
But Tori, you just said something and I lost my train of thought. What did you just say? You said
I said I realized the royal family was messed up after what happened with Princess Diana.
Yeah. And my mom basically told me the same thing. Like, that was when she really realized that these people were fucking nuts, when that girl got killed and the queen didn't even want to say anything. And she was like, "How do you just not say something like that's like the weirdest shit ever?"
Yeah, because it was like at that point when I started to like really research her, because she was very well beloved by a lot of people, and and the more I did like research about her backstory and everything like that, like she went through a lot with that royal family. I don't know why they try to compare her and Meghan Markle. I said this story is a completely different by a long shot.
So different.
Like they don't even compare. And basically, it was like, when she got ousted from the royal family and everything like that, they usually would say that they're not supposed to be in the spotlight and everything like that, but not her. Like, she ended up becoming a celebrity. She became more famous, even more famous than they did. And they really couldn't, like, they couldn't stand it and everything like that. Like, the people really wanted to know what was going on, and she was their way kind of in to a life that many people were kind of shut out from. And what happened under that tunnel, they claim was an accident, but let's be real here. Let's be
Honestly,
100 here.
I don't even know the details of any of that. So, because somebody in the chat is saying that the driver was shit faced, we gotta let it go. But I don't fucking know the details of the story. And not questioning, like, how do you even know that? Like, Colonel COVID Gaddafi made that point. But how would you even know? Because your info was coming from who? Like, your sources would be who? The same media that's owned by the fucking queen. So, I don't, like, what is, like, who fucking knows? But, I personally just feel like it's interesting to watch how, like, insane that how they treat their own family members, how they
Oh
treat people
yeah.
even in their circle, and
People
then
kill their own families.
right, these people are fucking weird. Fuck their family, kill their family, all that shit, right? And then when you look at the bigger picture of what they do, all this shit, these weirdo shit in their family to maintain power in the outer world. So they can, and they're losing, like in the show, they're like losing all, everybody's trying to get independent, kicking their ass, like, get the fuck off my land type shit. You know, they kind of over this shit. And
Yeah.
these
The
weirdos
War
are
of the
like, well, we have
Roses.
to say it again.
I think the War of the Roses is an interesting one. Like, it's a long ass war, and I can't remember what it was even about. Like,
I feel like I read about this, or I heard about it some kind of way, but I don't remember what that is. That was the king. So they were fighting to be king or something.
if I remember, there were two roses. There was something with two different
White rose and a
color.
red rose.
There was two different. Yeah, and there was two houses that one was the Plantagenet, and I forgot what the other one was. And one house was represented by a red rose and a white
Yeah.
rose, and they just got into this huge beef about it for, like, I think it might have lasted decades.
Yeah, and I think even they changed the records of who the actual royal line was. I've watched some documentary about it. I'm telling y'all, I know I tell y'all every time I do these streams, I watch random documentaries. I literally watch the most random documentaries about whatever I run across. In fact, I just watched a really great documentary, guys. I have to recommend this documentary. It's called Donut King.
Well, I
If
heard about
anyone
that
is-
one.
If you're actually interested in the history of why California has like a shit ton of donut shops, especially Southern California, because we have literally donuts everywhere. I always grew up with them. I did not know that wasn't the case always, and that wasn't the case that's not the case everywhere. Because we have like mom and pop type donut shops like on every corner. We have liquor stores, nail shops, and donut shops. So you can pretty much guarantee that's what we have all throughout LA. But this documentary is really interesting because not only do they talk about like the history of donuts, this the way that they tell the story that lets me know that these niggas was definitely laundering money through these donut shops. They don't say this in the documentary. They don't even hint to it, but so much shit don't be making no sense. So I want you guys to watch it and tell me what y'all think, because I think these niggas were selling drugs, laundering money through these donut shops, because these donut shops will have like $80,000 in cash. Like, how the fuck, if you donut shops in the fucking 80s and 90s donuts cost like 15 cents. And it had mostly change. Then I have like dollars, right? So how the fuck did they just like? So just watch the documentary. It's fucking hilarious how they try to tell you these stories. Because in my opinion, well, I'll get there. But just watch Donut King. I just had to share that because I fucking love that documentary. I'm gonna watch it again.
What streaming service did you see it on?
I forgot. I want to say Amazon Prime.
I'll pull up on the Fire Stick.
I want to say
Okay, cool.
Prime. I want to say it was on Prime.
Oh, also, I'm curious. Jin Kazi said that Elizabeth R was trash. I was wondering why. I love Elizabeth R. I'm curious why he thinks it's trash.
What is okay? I saw this link. You shared this in the group chat, I think, or on Twitter.
Oh yeah. I shared it. I think actually I might have shared it on Twitter. Yeah, but no, the whole thing is she's playing Anne Boleyn. This is another one that the representation
She's
crowd.
a white lady.
Yeah. Anne Boleyn's a white lady. She was one of the queens of England, and it's
how
like,
are they gonna explain how she's black? I'm trying to figure out how they're gonna do this.
you know, it's funny. If they just wanted to have it in some kind of like alternate universe, or if they just want to do it like when Denzel played Shakespeare, where just no one talks about it. But knowing these people, they're gonna work it into the plot somehow and make it stupid. Yeah, because you're right. If it's literal, how are they gonna explain it? And this is.
I think it's only one. I think it's only one film that got colorblind casting correctly, and that was that Cinderella movie back in the '90s with Brandy and Whitney Houston.
Because it's a fucking fantasy movie with the fucking fairy godmother.
But there was one that had Keanu Reeves and Denzel Washington playing brothers in a Shakespeare thing. But I think, in a weird way, I think you're supposed to imagine that Denzel was white. I think he's just playing the role. Like I think he wasn't literally black, if that makes sense. I think they're treating it like a play where anybody can play anything.
But that's how Cinderella was. Also, it was very much like a play, or you know, it was almost like community theater in a way.
Yeah, like what I hate is when they try to make it like literal and then start giving reasons for things, because that's what they did in Bridgerton. They started making like a civil rights type of.
Yeah, you know, if you're gonna put whoever, just put whoever, but don't try to fool me.
Yeah, exactly. Like don't lie to me. We can all play make believe together, but don't try to like suddenly tell me it's a documentary.
What pisses me off though about this Anne Boleyn thing is like, why? Like, why is how is this a positive thing? And then how are you gonna try to phrase this or frame this like this is some type of progress? Like, this does nothing for anybody. This helps no one.
It's just a gimmick.
There are too many stories that already exist, which is what irritates me about Hollywood. They will tell the same stories about the same people over and over again. There's already Anne Boleyn movies. Yeah. So there are a million stories we could tell about Black women in all types of positions, royalty or otherwise. Why are we always like, why do you have to cast a Black person in the story that's already been done? Why not just, there's all these other stories that exist that are.
And all it does is keep their own heroes alive, because things like Hamilton, if they kept the Hamilton characters white, that play would not have been as big a hit, because it's not politically correct anymore. You know, like these guys are white slavers, white genociders, you know, horrible people, and a lot of woke people will complain about it. But now that you make it Black, now it's our duty to have this, because, you know, it's helping Black people. It's a way to kind of, to me, the main purpose of Hamilton wasn't the Black representation, but the elevation of white institutions and heroes that previously couldn't be celebrated. And I feel like this is more the same thing. We're just helping keep their heroes alive. It's bad enough that we lost all of ours, but now they're using us to keep the problematic people alive, you know?
Right. Like, these are people these weren't good people. Right? Like,
yeah, I don't think anybody would care about this today. I mean, we had the other Boleyn girl, we had the other whatever girl that came out a couple of years ago. Like, this has been done, like you said, done to death. So this gimmick helps.
So Hitflix says the only Black role in Shakespeare is Othello. Usually they just ignore the person as Black, which is interesting because the entire play they just keep referring to him as that African or that Moor.
Yeah.
And didn't they make a movie called O with Mekhi Phifer way back in the early 2000s that was based off of Othello?
Yeah, it was like a modernized hip hop one, right?
With old girl from Save the Last Dance, Julia.
Yeah.
I want
Styles.
I want to say Julia Child. Julia Styles.
You're thinking of the cook.
You know what's so funny? That was a whole era, like the Julia Stiles era in every teen movie on Earth. Like,
yeah.
Like 30. Like, why is this girl in every fucking teen fucking movie? Not gonna lie,
that was a weird time.
I Hate About You was a funny movie. I thought the movie was funny, but it's like very white feminist.
No, I enjoyed her movies though. I can't lie. There was something about her movies that was just pleasantly dumb.
You said what was pleasantly?
Oh, there's things pleasantly dumb about her movies. Like her movies, because I remember I saw Save the Last Dance, and who's in that one? Kerry Washington.
Yeah, that was like her first movie.
Yeah,
she played a teen mom, because of course the Black girl had to be the teen mom, and the white girl had to be this elegant ballet dancer who's this quality, wholesome white girl
who ends up in the hood
because her mother died,
and she gets taught hip hop dance and falls in love with the Black guy. So, you know.
And how dare these Black people treat me this way because I like a Black guy. He's one of the good guys. He's not a thug like his cousin.
Oh,
First of all, that dude, the character even that he played was so funny to me because they try to make his circle something that's clearly not his circle.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't. But that
everybody
guy,
in the hood don't hang out with like
Yeah, because he was supposed to be, because he
gang
was going to be,
members.
yeah, because he was going to be a doctor. So it's like, wait a minute, like, why are you hanging with them and you trying to make it out, but you still there? And I guess she's supposed to come and find a way to save you from that.
but you don't look
Right.
like those people. You don't sound like anybody there. I get what Vita's saying. Like he just does not fit in. If you saw
Yeah.
them together in public, you'd be like, okay, did he just kidnap this accountant? You know, like what's going on? He
Right. Like
They
you could
tried to
be
use it in barbershop. He was in one of the barbershops where he played like the
Yeah.
bougie barber,
Hmm.
but I think that one worked because everyone acknowledged, hey, you don't fit in here.
right. That's the thing. He plays the characters well, but the
Yeah.
story doesn't make sense because usually those kind of guys are snotty. They look down on their cousins that be in the street. Let's just keep it a buck. I know those people.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't hang out with them. I'm with the, I'm an alpha phi alpha or whatever, right? Alpha, whatever they be calling themselves. Like, I just feel like it's interesting that they try to portray this guy like he be in the streets like that. Like, he don't be in the streets like that. Like,
Yeah,
I grew
you're
up in the
right.
hood my whole life. Okay. Yes, sometimes you do end up in some fucking crazy situations, just good kid, Mad City type shit. Shout out to Kendrick, right? That does happen. But the way they made it out, like this is his circle. Like this is who he be kicking it with. Like that's
Yeah,
not
I didn't
true.
buy it at all.
Everybody in the there's not like you have one good black kid and there's just like and everybody else is just fucked up.
And he wasn't code switching at all. Like he was just talking that same proper talk in the hood.
Right.
He's like, is that a
Right.
buster? You know, like it was just like horrible, like the way he was.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's just not your circle, and that's cool. Like, I'm not saying you can't interact with them. Of course, you if you live in certain neighborhoods, you're gonna interact with these people. You know, you interact with whoever you're around, but that doesn't necessarily make them your circle. You know what I mean? Like, I knew who my circle was. Did I have other friends that did other shit? Yeah, but we didn't kick it like that every day. It wasn't just like these are my people. I'm just running the streets like y'all. I wasn't running the streets. I was in after school programs, like where my butt was supposed to be.
Hold on. Look at this from the article. This is more of that babble. So they're saying why is she black, and then um she goes, although race does not figure overtly in the show's plot, the program makers adopted an approach known as identity conscious casting, which
What
allows
does that
actors
mean?
to bring, quote, all those factors of yourself to a role, Ward said. Aren't all actors supposed to bring all parts of themselves to a role? Like,
Right.
I don't
I don't.
understand. It's not just acting. Like, they made up some fancy word for just giving black people weird roles. I don't know. Identity conscious acting. And it just describes basic acting. But this is the worst part. And for Turner Smith, that meant connecting her experiences with the way in which Anne, who was raised in the French court, was an outsider and suffered at Henry's court. And then she goes, quote, as a black woman, I can understand being marginalized. I have a lived experience of what limitation and marginalization looks like, feels like, Turner Smith, 34, said in an interview. I thought it was interesting to bring the freshness of a black body telling that story.
Stop, T.
Yes.
Stop it. Stop it. Just stop right
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
We can't let that
No,
weird ass line.
that was where
slide.
I was stopping. That paragraph was the point. That was actually where I was going to stop.
No, but say that sentence one more time.
Yeah, it's insane.
I just can't believe that was written.
Yes.
And approved. It wasn't. I just can't.
Spoken. Yeah, because she said this in an interview.
Oh.
I'm gonna read the
Spoken.
whole 3 paragraphs again because you got to get them all together. Right.
You have to really get the whole thing.
Although race does not figure overtly in the show's plot, the program makers adopted an approach known as identity conscious casting, which allows actors to bring all those factors of yourself to a role, Ward said. For Turner Smith, that meant connecting her experiences with the ways in which Anne, who was raised in the French court, was an outsider and suffered at Henry's court. Quote, as a black woman, I can understand being marginalized. I have a lived experience of what limitation and marginalization feel like. End quote. Turner Smith, 34, said in the interview. Quote, I thought it was interesting to bring the freshness of a black body
Stop.
telling that story. Unquote. So basically, what she's saying is the actors were meant to bring all factors of themselves to a role. And what she chose to bring to capture the temporary hell that a rich, thriving, gold digging white woman had while trying to be a climber with a dangerous man. It's somehow comparable to being a black woman in the white supremacist society. Like, I think it's insanely insulting. They're basically trying to. This is the new woman is a nigger of the world. Have you guys ever heard of that with John Lennon?
In Yoko Ono, right?
Yeah, and it was like such a tone deaf thing, and but they're trying to make women the new black people. This is like, I feel like that same thing. We need a black woman's body to capture how tough it is to be a white woman.
That sentence, I thought it was. This girl is insane. I thought it was interesting to bring the freshness
of a black body.
Word choices are weird.
The freshness of a black body
like
is
you're
very
not,
morbid.
Like your fucking steak. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? The freshness
because
of a black body.
Because it's a sacrifice. You know, it's a freshly sacrificed body.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it is. But that's what Hamilton was. Like, you just using black bodies to animate white heroes. Like, that's almost like Get Out. You know what I mean?
But who even talks like that?
Like when you said, like when you said sacrifice, all I could hear is like some old. It almost sounds like something from the Salem witch trials. Like, I bring forth to you this fresh black body to offer up as a sacrifice.
Yes, that's what it sounds
very
like.
Creepy.
It sounds creepy as hell. Who even talks like that? The freshness of a black body. That's like when I was in college, I took this class and I hated it. Most of the people in my class were white. My professor was black. The class was called Black Popular Culture, and I got a D in the class. The white kids got A's. I could not, because I didn't understand how she talked like that. And I didn't understand her at all. She talked just like that. She would say shit like body and space, and just the way she was saying, I was like, what the fuck is this lady even talking about? The freshness of a black body.
She's really bizarre. I mean, she's gone viral she says a lot of self-hating things.
That's just weird. It's just weird shit.
I knew something was off for her when she did that movie. What was the name of that movie? Queen and Slim. I knew she was a weirdo then.
See, I watched that movie, and that movie was terrible. It's one of those movies that scene-wise, like the cuts, the shots, beautiful shots, wonderful filmography and cinematography. But it was such a bad movie. Just in general, it was a bad movie. I thought it was counter to anything movement-wise for Black people. In fact, I would just say it straight out. I thought it was anti-Black. I thought it was just a terrible movie. So
it's very anti-Black.
Well, look at who made the movie. What's her name? Lena Waithe.
Yes.
Enough said.
She's on my list. So her, Lee Daniels, Kenya Barris, Issa Rae. They're on my list. These are my list.
I'm so mad at Lena Waithe because she literally single-handedly ruined The Chi for me. I loved that show. But then when she started doing whatever she started to do to it, it just ruined it for me. And I'm mad because it's on like the 4th season now. I was following that story, but then she just started doing weird stuff even outside of that. Because if you remember, the same year that Black Panther came out was the same year Crazy Rich Asians came out. It came out in the summer. A couple weeks before that, a movie came out called Sorry to Bother You. And it was an independent made film. It came out a couple weeks before Crazy Rich Asians.
That was Boots Riley from The Coup.
Yeah, and Lakeith Stanfield was on the lead character, and literally she got on Twitter like the weekend that Crazy Rich Asians came out and said, "Well, if everybody can go out and support Black Panther, then we can come together and support Crazy Rich Asians." I'm like, wait a minute, you just had an independent made film that was made by a Black director that came out a couple weeks before that could have used the promotion from you because of your name, but you got out there and literally promoted a film about Asians that didn't even need the push because it was made by a major studio. And not only that, but she also made some comments about Denzel Washington and Will Smith not giving Black people roles and stuff like that. I'm like, she must not know their resume. So she's been problematic for some time now. but she's
Yeah.
confused anyway. So
I feel like I've seen other shit she said that was fucking stupid. So I never really pay her any attention, in all honesty. But sometimes it's just you run across shit like this and you just can't let that shit slide. I'm with you all the way. That's just fucking crazy. She's clearly nuts. Like I think something's not all the way there with her.
One thing about her, she is such a type of fuck boy. Like as a guy, like I look at her and I'm like, to the extent that you have made yourself a black man, I know the exact type of black man that you are, and he's so annoying. As far as the identity that she's doing, like, have you ever seen her pose in pictures and stuff?
Jody.
She's
no, Lena
no,
Waithe.
no, Lena Waithe. Yeah, have you ever seen Lena Waithe pose in pictures? She is such a fuckboy. It's when you see the pictures, I'm gonna pull up the pictures.
I've
You're
seen
gonna see
it.
oh, you've seen it when she does like
didn't she also get like divorced or for cheating or something?
Oh yeah. And when you see these pictures, you know it was coming. Like it's the total like fuckboy pictures.
Like I always try to tell people, Lena Waithe is not a political person. She does not give a fuck about women, black women, queer people. She don't give a fuck about none of that shit. She's a Hollywood person.
I remember seeing her in that movie Ready Player One, and she was one of the worst parts of that movie.
I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen. I remember Dear White People. I remember when I interviewed
she
her.
Was in that.
She was not political. She didn't even have like a real political perspective, even for that movie. Justin did most of the talking. And what else was there? She did Stepsisters, which was ridiculous. That's the one where it's a black girl who has to teach a white sorority how to step so they can compete against all the black step performers.
That just sounds. Oh wait, was that on Netflix?
I think so. It was called Stepsisters. Yeah, but I also saw her on I keep knocking shit over. Master of None. And that was when I saw it. And she was somebody that I, even at that point, I was kind of like rooting for her, because as a black person in comedy or whatever. Yeah. And then when I watched it, her character would always say some real fucking stupid shit. And I remember like there was this conversation about black people on TV, and they're doing the whole like comparing Indian people aren't on TV, and then she's like, "Well, we got Oprah and Beyonce or something, and that's it," or some shit. Like it was some weird ass conversation, and it was like,
yeah, it wasn't very good. Like I remember what you're talking about, and now they made the whole show about her, and I heard it's really bad. The new season
Master of None.
Yeah, the new season is just her and her like lesbian partner. And the people are saying it's
the
like
show
horrible.
Was good with the only thing I didn't like about Master of None was Old Boy's obsession with white women.
Yeah, but other than that, it was okay.
I thought it was a good show. I actually thought the episode she got an award for wasn't a bad episode.
There is no way you didn't know she was a cheater with this
Definitely type of cheating ass face. I know cheating ass nigga when I see one.
Every single picture she takes, she poses like a fuck.
It's the eyes, it's the eyebrows and the eyes. It's something about that particular face, like.
But also the pursed lips, like like that. The eyes and the pursed lips.
That haircut kind of fly though. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Oh yeah, I mean, but those type of fuck boys that she's trying to be like do have good haircuts because they've been.
That's true.
Yeah, they're not doing anything else. They're not reading the book.
And they dress nice.
They
dress nice. And smell good. Let's be real. They have nice cologne.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like all those black incel manosphere types, they so hate like the thugs and always talk about the Pookies and Ray Rays. But I feel like those type of dudes that we're talking about, I would think if I was an incel, I would hate them like way more.
What do you mean? Oh, why?
I don't know. Like, because something about them is just so annoying. Like okay. If I was one of the incels, right, the Pookie and Ray Ray that the incel types online always talk about, you can kind of say, okay, this guy's living a tough, dangerous life. If anybody, deserves to be rewarded with a partner, I don't agree with it, but I can see it. I'm saying like from the incels point of view, what he would say. But I feel like the kind of guy we're talking about, that kind of fuckboy, is like a scavenger. He's a guy who waits, until like a girl's in a bad place because she just broke up with somebody, and then he comes in. So I saw you having a fight with your boyfriend. I'd never treat you like that. Just
dirty macking.
Yeah, dirty macking. Like, and this way she just strikes me. She strikes me as
she definitely seems like a dirty macker, or like somebody who purposely finds the girl that's down and out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
I feel like that guy doesn't get enough hate.
I want you to show that I keep saying Rita Moreno clip. That shit is so funny to me. I watched it like 3 times. That shit was so fucking hilarious.
I haven't seen it at all, so this would be my first time.
Oh, you have to watch it.
Yeah, I will see it. I will see it live. Oh, in the meantime, check this out while I pull that up. That girl Jody Turner. Oh, by the way, it said no results for Lena Waithe fuckboy under photo tab. Actual tweets, there were a ton of Lena Waithe fuckboy tweets.
That's funny.
Look what Essence had this week.
Oh, I think I saw this.
All he was doing was just taking pictures with his wife, something that everybody does. And Essence did a whole story. Find a man who publicly celebrates you.
They do the same thing with Serena Williams and her husband. Notice a pattern?
But the white husband will be doing the most basic stuff, like holds the door open.
I know. Fucking.
I thought this was dead.
What's the dude that was with Saweetie?
Oh, Quavo, was it?
Quavo. It's funny because he had to get her a whole Bentley and buy her Birkin bags and shit.
Joshua Jackson looked like he just got done doing a line of coke.
Yeah, he does, right? He definitely does.
Wait. Is that the dude from Dawson's Creek?
Dawson's Creek.
Yes, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
And she was. He's definitely cheating. He looked like he cheating and he doing coke.
Got
he
that
fucking everybody
sugar
in Hollywood. He definitely fucking everybody in Hollywood. I promise you, that shit gonna come out.
Maybe.
But I have a big problem with this over idolization of celebrity couples. Because you don't know, like, you can't look at pictures and know how people are treating their partner. You have no clue. That's why people get surprised by divorces. Like, oh, they're getting divorced. Like, yeah, you thought because Quavo bought her a Bentley, or because they took a nice picture together, or you saw them holding hands, or the fact that she was willing to say nigga for her white husband. You thought that meant that was love. That don't mean that's love.
What was funny with the Quavo thing is, even he got her the Bentley and all that stuff, there were still some people that replies finding a problem with that, like, oh, he's trying to control her and isolate her from her friends by buying her nice stuff. This is classic abuser behavior. Like,
you don't even know these people. You don't know these people. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. You don't know these people. You don't know their relationships. You don't know, like, people are all, oh, Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. You don't know what it's like to be fucking married to Beyonce. You have no fucking clue. Relax. Like, just stop.
Yeah, like you always saw them posting pictures and saying hashtag couple goals. You don't know what's going on in their house.
I was at a stand-up. I forgot which comedian said it. It was like I wish I could remember his name, but I was in Vegas, and he asked this couple, how long they've been married, and they said 20 years. He asked the wife, oh, is that your husband? She goes, yes. How long y'all been married? She says 20 years. Everybody starts clapping, and he's like, well, hold up. She didn't say that was a good 20 years. You don't know what's going on in their house. He could be beating her upside the head for all we know. We don't know that. and it was funny, but it was a good point. Like, damn, people just clap for long relationships, but you don't know what goes on. But these people.
Some old school people, they find that still a good thing. If you said, there's some old school people where if you said,
oh, for sure,
yo, he was beating her for that whole 20 years, they'll clap harder. Like, that's a good woman. Like, it's easy to stay 20 years. Yeah, it's easy to be 20 years married, was going good, but a good woman.
They were saying that. They were saying that he was in the Tyler Perry style relationship, because that's what he writes.
Yeah.
And TW said you have no clue what was happening with Charles and Diana, just like Jay-Z and B. Yeah, I don't think any of us claimed we knew what was going on in their marriage. Is somebody? Is that a shot at us? I'm not sure.
Oh, I thought he was agreeing with us. Like, I thought he was extending the example.
Oh,
maybe I'm wrong.
I wasn't sure. Listen, people say weird, slick shit to me all day, especially on Twitter. Try to act like
Oh
they're not
yeah,
saying slick
yeah.
shit to me. So, and
Oh no,
I've seen it multiple times. What were you gonna say?
no, I understand because yeah, if I had your Twitter days, I would be on edge too because they be coming for you. Like they're always after you for
Right.
something.
So I'll be having PTSD. So I have to check with them. Like, am I tripping? Because this seems a little spicy. But thank you, TW. I apologize because I just wanted to check. You was trying to get at me, like, yeah. But you're absolutely right.
You're
We don't
shell
know
shocked
what's
from
going.
Twitter.
I'm super shell shocked from Twitter. I had to learn how to just mute and just block and just stop responding to people because I think I be saying real basic ass shit. I swear to God, I don't even think I be saying nothing profound. I just be high and tweeting my thoughts half the time. And next thing I know, I got weirdos in my mentions. People are arguing me about shit I never said. And you're like, whoa, I literally never said anything like that in my life.
I feel like what's funny too, I've noticed from seeing your replies is I never realized the extent to which this exists, but I feel like there's a type of grown man who their way of flirting is like pulling the girl's pigtails in school. Like I think for some people it's like a kind of foreplay or flirting with you they think they're doing by fighting with you or something. Because
oh yes, you know what? I do think there was this one guy. I don't know if I eventually blocked him or he just stopped talking to me, but he would every time I said something, he had some weird asshole thing to say, like either implying that I was lying or it was something weird. And he'd be like, what the fuck is your problem? And then he'll try to flirt with me. And I'm like, so yeah, some of these guys are kind of weird on my Twitter. I don't even, like I said, I just be saying basic shit. It's
yeah,
negging. What does that mean?
that's what a pickup artist would do where they try to like impress a girl by acting unimpressed, and then some people took it to the next level and would try to say something to kind of be like a backhanded diss or whatever.
Yeah, that shit doesn't work in real life unless you're trying to get certain types of women.
Yeah.
Like that's one, I'm too old for that shit. Like I'm way too old for that shit. And two, like those kind of tactics might work, but they work to get you a certain type of person. And I don't know if that's the kind of person you want to be with. You know,
Yeah.
usually it's not. It's a person that you're planning to just throw away. Because that's what those pickup artists teach you is how to just pick up women, not how to keep them. How to pick them up.
I don't think they even teach you that. I think they're all lying.
Yeah, and the real shit, that whole like insulting women shit, people say that shit works. I've literally never seen it actually work in real life. But maybe those guys weren't executing the plan properly. I don't know. But I definitely have gotten mad, and I've seen girls get mad and cuss a nigga out. I've seen, and funny enough, in New York, I've seen it happen multiple times where this chick just cuss a nigga out. Just
Yeah, but New York people, man, they do some stuff like I just don't get it. Like I'll see someone talking and they'll be fighting, and then they'll be saying stuff like the guy will be talking to the girl like, "I told you, nigga, I'm not cheating on you." It's like, who talks to a girl like that? That's like weird. Like, and they be like,
I saw a series of videos on YouTube called "Only in New York," and it's like different volumes of videos. New York is a whole jungle in and of itself. I'm talking like a legit jungle that has all types.
Some shit like, I'm not cheating on you, nigga. You know, honestly, the first
and the girl be saying, bro. The girl be saying, bro. Nah, bro. I saw how you looked at her. It's like, nah, nigga. I wasn't me.
The first time I had ever heard a woman say "suck my dick" were New York women. I had literally never heard a woman say that.
It's so
and
upsetting.
I would hear women tell guys all the time, "You suck my dick, nigga. Suck my dick." He'd be like, "Whoa."
Oh, for real.
New York is my second favorite place outside of LA. Like, I fucking love New York. It's one of my favorite places. But it's just funny. It's a whole. You're right. It's a whole nother dynamic.
Oh, wait. So I found the Rita Moreno clip.
Yeah, Phil Opian said NYC women are different. They are lovely women, very lovely. You found it? Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
and I told you my computer's slow. So I don't know what's making it slow. Okay, here we go. Rita Moreno comments on the controversy. First off, man, no one should ask old people anything.
Okay,
Like,
right.
yeah, just old people. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna mess it up. It's almost cruel. Like to even ask, like, don't ask them about trans. Don't ask them about race. Don't ask them. Just they're old.
And we
This is
talked
hilarious.
about criticism about Lin Manuel. That really upsets me.
Oh, wait a minute. She brought it up herself proactively. Okay, so
Yes.
it's
That's
all
what makes
her.
it even but that's not even where the funniest shit is. Make
Can
it
we
big
talk
enough?
for a second about that criticism about Lin Manuel? That really upsets me.
Oh yeah, for the
Did you
people who
see
don't for
that?
the people who don't know, your friend and ours, Lin Manuel Miranda, has
Because
been
he's
in the
also
news.
he also co-produced my
Documentary?
documentary. Yeah.
There's been some criticism for the lack of Afro-Latino people in the Heights,
Yeah.
the movie adaptation of his
I mean,
play.
it's like
What
you
do you
can never.
make?
Yeah, isn't it funny to see white people try to keep up? Because you can see him thinking hard. Don't say the wrong thing. You see, he was stuck on Afro Latino. Maybe he's gonna say
Yeah.
Afro Latinx. He didn't know. So I put X in with the Afro. When you put the Afro, does the X turn back to an O? Like what do I do? But check him out. He has a little bit of hesitation.
Make of that?
You can never do right. It seems.
Wait.
There's been some criticism for the lack of Afro-Latino people in the
Afro
Heights,
Latino.
the movie adaptation of his
I
play.
mean, it's like
what do
you
you
can
make
never.
of that?
You can never do right. It seems. This is the man who literally has brought Latino-ness and Puerto Rican-ness to America. I couldn't do it. I mean, I would love to say I did, but I couldn't. Lin Manuel has done that really single-handedly, and I'm thrilled to pieces, and I'm proud that he produced my documentary.
Man, I would rather not go over, like as an ethnicity than have Lin-Manuel Miranda be what brings Puerto Ricanness to the world. Like I just never thought about that. The whole world thinking Lin-Manuel Miranda is Puerto Rico.
And so are you saying that while you may understand where people's concerns come from, that perhaps it's misplaced in criticizing him in this?
Well, I'm simply saying, can't you just wait a while and leave it alone?
Oh.
There's a lot of people who are Puerto Riqueño, who are also from Guatemala, who are dark and who are also fair. We are all colors in Puerto Rico. And this is how it is. And it would be so nice if they hadn't come up with that and left it alone just for now. I mean, they're really attacking the wrong person.
She wasn't that bad for most of it.
Listen.
At the end, she just crashed into the wall.
But that's the thing. He was trying to help her not do that. But she wanted to make sure you knew how racist she was. Like, like she had to make sure it was cemented. Like, nah, don't clean it up for me.
No, but what got me?
I know what the fuck I'm saying.
What got me was when she threw on the accent. She said that part out.
Yeah.
Right.
That
Puerto Riqueño. Yeah, it's like it's all that necessary.
Listen, when she got she said, why can't you just leave it alone? Like, what? Can't you just wait a while? Nigga, what are you talking about? Did you start talking about there's people of all colors?
Have people started
the point is it is all colors and they not in the fucking movie. What are you talking about? Because you like him and this is your homie? Nobody even also it didn't look like Stephen Colbert wanted to even talk about that with her. Because like he already knew she was gonna say some shit. But fuck it. She put it out there. We about to get these hits.
I feel like that's so the worst part is most of it wasn't bad. She just crashed it all at the very end. Like, when she was just saying, hey,
she was determined to get it out. She said, all I'm saying is, she's basically, nah, I ain't saying that, Steven. What I'm saying is all this racist shit right here. This is what I meant.
and part of it made no sense too, because she's like, yeah, we have all types of races in Guatemala and Puerto Rico, all types of colors. Okay, isn't that more of a reason to put them in the movie?
That's
like
exactly.
It wasn't even making sense as an answer to the debate. Like,
right.
Yeah. So what was she even trying to say?
Revolution said Rita Moreno is the same lady who was worried that her daughter would look black because of her grandmother's African ancestry. She's trash. I actually saw that article. And so in that same thread, I think T is actually the link to that or a screenshot of
okay.
that article. So I saw that in there, and that was interesting too. I also did not know that they darkened. I didn't know how white she was also, because she always looked browner in the old movies I saw her in.
In West Side Story, they put like basically like brown face, black face makeup on her.
Yeah, no, she's the brownest in that, but she's browned in other movies too.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's the brownest in that, which is wild because she's already the only Latino person in the fucking movie. Like everybody else is like white, American, and Italian and Irish and shit, right? But yeah, all the stars are like Italian. So it didn't. It's just fucking crazy. But when they showed that, it was like, oh shit, I didn't realize that she was a white woman. Like it just never occurred to me.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, man, because she does that same thing. She speaks in a perfectly American accent and then just breaks it out on certain words, and that just drives me so nuts.
That's what made me laugh when she was just speaking all perfect and everything, and then when she mentioned Puerto Rico and Dominican, and then that's when the accent come out. And I noticed that a lot of people who are in that community do that often. It's like we gonna let you know that we are we are Americanized, but we still are hanging on to our dialect when we're talking about our other culture.
But
Right.
I feel like those are the Latinx. I feel like she's like the precursor to a Latinx, like because I feel like regular Latinos just use the regular Spanglish and whatever, and the whole thing will kind of be in like a accent. But I feel like it's a certain group that gets really as far as assimilating or whatever. And sometimes I think like, okay, I don't think you actually hang out with Hispanic people that much, so then I think they overcompensate on certain words. If anybody in the chat wants to clarify or agree or disagree, I'm curious what people think. But yeah, I think the regular Latino person doesn't do all that, it'll
I mean, I
yeah.
definitely hear people being in LA. You definitely hear people who mix the accent or mix certain words in. But
Yeah, but
but it
I'm
just
talking about
doesn't seem authentic when whatever they're doing just seems so inauthentic. It just seems like it's like a branding thing. Whenever I look at people on TV in
Yeah.
Hollywood, my first thought is they're branding themselves. That's the only reason you go on those shits, right? You're branding yourself, you're promoting a movie, whatever it is. So or both. Or actually it's always both, right? So all the things that they do are intentional. Especially
Yeah,
on
what
those
I'm
kind
talking
of
about
late night
is
talk
not.
shows.
Yeah, like what I'm talking about is not regular Spanglish, but see, that's not Spanglish because they're just taking a word and just giving it the old country pronunciation, but it's like something that already exists in a certain form usually in America, and it's just I don't know, it just seems very, very fake to me. I don't know.
It's inauthentic and it's insincere, to be honest, because when it comes to non-white people in Hollywood, I pretty much just always have the same perspective. There's a reason why they in the positions they in. There are reasons why white people fuck with them. There's a reason why. That's just always been my perspective on that shit.
And one thing I never
Mhm.
And one thing I never liked was when they could be speaking to you in English and all of a sudden they switch and start speaking another language. Like, are you insulting me right now and think I don't know the language?
I don't know if people are always trying to insult me, because some people, I think that's just how they talk. But I definitely have been in situations where I felt like they were purposely being exclusive. I've been in job situations like that, where it's like, oh, okay, I get what's happening here. It's to make sure I'm not included because I don't speak Spanish that well. But the funny thing is, I understood it enough. I understood it better than they thought I did, because I studied Spanish for like 10 years, literally since 7th grade. So all the way through college. So I can understand Spanish very well. I can't speak it that great, but I can understand it. And I think people often don't expect that, especially me being specifically African American. Like, I'm not Belizean, I'm not Honduran or nothing like that. So people don't expect me to know shit, but I've definitely had people, think that they were going to exclude me. But that picture is gross.
Yeah, yeah. This is
Yeah.
her. This is her with the makeup on. and
She
stuff.
wasn't
Yeah,
that dark in the movie. You see,
in West Side Story.
yeah, she didn't look that dark in the movie.
I haven't seen it in a
She,
while, so
she
I
looked
don't.
damn near like Celia Cruz on that.
I'm trying to find what you were talking about. What was it you said was in the?
It was like a screenshot of an article, and it was saying like her talking about not wanting a black daughter,
Ooh,
or hoping her daughter wouldn't be too dark or her baby wouldn't be too dark.
I can't find it. My computer's too slow. But
I mean, let me see if I can.
yeah, but that's people just be admitting anything in these interviews. I guess maybe at the time it was considered a normal sentiment to not want your kid to be dark.
Yeah, I gotta find it, but rain.
Yeah, I'm looking it up too. Yeah, yeah, but what else is it? What else is in the news? Yeah, just the. I'm wondering if actual people from Washington Heights care about this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
They probably don't.
Yeah, I have a feeling they don't. They probably think it's all kind of corny anyway.
Oh, like what is corny?
Like when I first saw the trailer for it, I was like, I don't know. And then all of this stuff is coming out about it, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of exactly what I thought it was going to turn out to be. And they only literally show like only that one lead actor who was black in the movie, and that's his name, Corey. I forgot his last name. The one who played Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is he in the Heights?
Yeah, he's in the movie. Like he actually has a like leading role in the like a prominent role in the movie because he's like in so many scenes like from the trailers that I've seen. He's like the only black person leading in that movie. He's not
he
the lead.
Afro-Latino?
That I don't know. Like I
don't
think he's a straight black. I think he's a straight like black.
But yeah, I didn't. It didn't look good to me at all. I saw like a billboard for it, but it looked corny. So I just kind of it doesn't look like. And I like musicals, but that did not look good at all. I don't like things that look forced. It's like nothing about it made me feel like, oh, this is gonna really be showing me an authentic perspective of that community. Because I feel like when you name something a movie like that and you're telling me that's what it is, I want to feel like that's what I'm getting, right? Like I want to, regardless of whatever the story is, you tell me this is about a particular part of Greece, I want to know about how that community in Greece operates. I want to see what that looks like. This looks like some teenage American shit. It just looks weird. It doesn't look.
Yeah, I feel like it's a Disney Channel show before.
Yes,
yeah,
it was an adult Disney Channel show, and you know something too. Like these people who are into representation and diversity, the big reason they always tell people that's necessary is because of authenticity. So they kind of set themselves up for this because the whole reason why you need to hire them and their friends is because having an all-white writers' room or whatever leads to the lack of authenticity, supposedly. But these people, they kind of give the game away when they get in charge because they're just as inauthentic as the white people when it comes to, you know, they'll be saying things and you're like, did a white person write this? Then you look and it's, you know, a black person.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a white person wrote it.
Because they know who to hire, like I said.
Yep.
But I don't know. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Oh no, I'm ready to wrap.
I gotta make dinner.
Oh yeah, no problem. I was gonna suggest the same. So yeah, it's cool with me.
All right, for sure. Thank you so much, Torian, for joining us.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad that y'all was able to have me on here.
Oh, no problem. You don't have a camera. I think that's what happened the last time. I was like, why?
I do. When the next time I come on, I'll turn it on.
You know what? I think you said that the last time.
Vita remembers everything. You can't.
I know.
If I'm not high, I'll definitely remember.
But I promise I'll turn it on the next time I come on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Watch him not come on for another year. And then think
Listen,
I forgot.
listen. I'm subscribing. I have the notifications on. I have
Awesome.
that bell
Okay.
clicked.
Okay. It's just always weird to me. I get on Mario too. Like it's just so weird to me. We're on a live stream and we can't see you.
See that?
There
See
we
that?
go. Hi.
What's going on?
What's
I
going
feel.
on?
What's up?
All right. So you could have this whole time. I got you.
No, but maybe he wasn't ready. Maybe he had some eye boogers going on. You don't know what a man's got going on. You know.
Fair enough. Look, fair enough. I get you. I was prepared already before I hopped on here, so I feel you. I broke a nail, but I was gonna try to get my nails done before I hopped on here. Didn't have time. It had a long wait.
I
You
appreciate
know, we
the
need more
sacrifice.
black-owned nail shops that have walk-ins. I just want to say that.
We just need more
Do y'all
black-owned nail shops in general. At least in New York, there's not many.
Facts everywhere. We don't have them here. We have like a few, but the thing is, they don't take walk-ins. You got to make an appointment. Now I might not always know I'm gonna break a nail, so you guys have make sure. Oh, you want to go ahead?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I never gave the whole house cleaning thing, but yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost anything to do, or you know, it could Venmo, Cash App us at Champagne Sharks. PayPal is champagnesharks@gmail.com. And yeah, go to patreon.com. Just go to champagnesharks.com. That's all the links that you need. And Torian, if you want to tell people who don't know about your YouTube.
Okay. If y'all haven't done so already, make sure y'all go subscribe to my channel, Torian Rain Reloaded. You can follow me on Twitter at Torian Rain.
Put your name in the chat so people can follow you directly.
All right.
But thank you so much again, Torian. Thank you for everyone who donated. Jen, shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who supports the Champagne Sharks. Don't forget to hit us up on Patreon. We are on patreon.com/Champagne Sharks. Become a subscriber. You get access to our podcasts in full, not just half. And trust me, our podcasts are so good, you're going to want the whole thing. Make sure if you want to support us, but you don't want to necessarily go through Patreon, you can also Venmo or Cash App us. The name is Champagne Sharks. We're Champagne Sharks everywhere. You can just Google Champagne Sharks. There's no one else called us, so we're easy to find. Drew Thomas says you can watch the sunset on T's window if you high speed scrub.
Yeah.
He's giving you an Easter egg. Isn't that what they call those things? Easter eggs?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for joining us. I don't know when we'll be able to do it again. Hopefully this week. And we'll try.
Yeah. I'm free this week, so we'll be back on.
Well, all right. You guys have a great one. Follow us on social media. Bye.
All right, take care.
All right.